Welcome to Decades of Horror, the 1970s.
Ah, man, you're weird.
This is episode 141, recorded June 3rd, 2021.
Gruesome Magazine.
I know you are, but what am I? All right, I am your host, Doc Rodden, and this podcast is about horror films released between 1970 and 1979. Each episode, my co-host, Jeff Mohr, and I will tackle another classic or not-so-classic film from this wondrous, groovy, gory, and influential decade. All right, we're tackling a fringe horror film tonight called Boys from Brazil. And I didn't know how it was going to actually relate to being a horror film, and there it did it. It did it at the end, and I can't wait to do this. All right, with me this week, of course, is my co-host, Jeff Mohr. Jeff, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. I'm a little bummed because Bill Mulligan couldn't be with us, and this was his pick. But we tried doing all kinds of
Creative
rescheduling,
calisthenics and all kinds of stuff to reschedule it and fit it. And so I called him and said, "How bummed are you if you can't be on here?" And he was like, "Oh, I get it. Go ahead."
Yeah.
But I'm sure he'll get back at us at some point.
He will. He's at Con Carolina.
Yeah.
So we'll give them.
Yes, he is.
All right. But joining us tonight, of course, is Chad Hunt, comic artist and co-host of Decades Horror Classic Era. How you doing, sir?
Confused and sleepy. It's way past my bedtime.
It is past your bedtime.
I'm confused about this movie.
And you're tired.
Yeah, and I'm tired. So that makes it 10 times worse.
All right. Well, we also have a guest host from the West Coast. That's right. We have Daphne. She is awesome, stupendous, and likable as hell, are my notes. So that's kind of cool. That's awesome. I'm glad you filled in for me last week. So I missed out on joining you. This is the first time you and I have been on a podcast together, and I am thrilled to death. Welcome.
Thanks, Doc. It's awesome to be here with you guys. Yeah, I just got off work, so I have a little bit of energy left, and I am super excited to talk with you guys.
Oh, no, how you doing?
Even if it's about this movie.
By the end of the podcast, we're all going to be like,
zombies. But you're regularly on the Classic Era podcast with these two jokers here, right?
barely. She's barely on there.
Barely on
I just kind of show up.
She tries.
Sometimes.
She tries.
I try desperately.
Little bird
She does like mini cosplays too to surprise us.
Oh yeah,
To surprise us.
The-
Yeah.
I thought
collar
Daphne would
from
have a little tiny mustache and her nose right there.
Oh, dang it. Oh, why did I think of that?
Oh no! Stop! All right, what
I
are we
thought about
doing?
shaving, but I thought, no, that takes too long.
Don't do that. Don't do that. All
Classic
right.
Era takes over the 70s podcast.
I know. It's like everybody's going like, "What's going on?" All right, this is what you get. All right, we're doing Boys from Brazil, and Jeff did the honors of the graphic and did a great job. 1978 director Franklin Schaffner, who directed a lot of films I really like. The writers are Ira Levin, who did the novel, and Heywood Gould. The cast includes, but is not limited to, Gregory Peck, Laurence Olivier, James Mason, Lilli Palmer, Hagen, Steve Guttenberg, and Dan Elliott. It was released October 4th, 1978 in the States. The budget was $12 million. It made, I think, $19 million. So,
Yeah, who knows?
it depending on who you read, this was a hit or a bomb. Synopsis: a Nazi hunter in Paraguay discovers a sinister and bizarre plot to rekindle the Third Reich. That is the plot. I remember when this movie came out, there was a lot of hype about it, and that's all I remember. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
So let's get into our first impression and when we first caught this. And Daphne, we're going to start with you.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
What was your first impression? When did you
all the way
first see this
back.
film? Yeah.
The first time I saw this was last night, approximately 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And my initial impression was,
Nah.
I have to admit, I was kind of disappointed just because Ira Levin and this amazing cast. But I've been thinking about it, and there were some things I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about. But yeah, it's just sorry. All I can come up with is
Yeah. Kind of sounds like a stinker. Oh no. All right.
I don't know if I'd call it a stinker, but yeah, it's yeah.
There might be some stank. All right. Oh, that's Chad. What was your first impression of The Boys from Brazil? And when did you first see it?
Well, I hope Daphne is not going to look to me to explain anything that's going on in this movie, because I just saw it for the first time myself the night before last. So I avoided this movie for years, thinking it was one of those like old timey. I think I read the box in the video store once, and it said something about Nazis on there, and I thought it was maybe a war film or something. So I never bothered to watch it. And watching it now, I can see why I never bothered to watch it. It's this. Oh my God! It took me. You know how I love using the fast forward feature on whenever I watch things. It was not fast enough because I was.
You did faster forward.
Oh my God! Was I bored through this movie? And it seemed like a boring like drama, and I kept waiting for the horror to kick in. But and I saw this. I said the same thing. What a cool cast! This has a lot of very cool people in it, and I just found it extremely boring until that batshit crazy ending that I could not believe was really the ending.
Bizarre.
Which we'll talk about it, but this is strange. And I don't know how I feel about it. I really don't know how I feel about it. I have no opinion.
No opinion. No, I think you do, sir. I think you do.
I really do.
All right. Jeff Mohr, sir, what was your first impression of Boys from Brazil? When did you first see it?
Well, I'm not going to say this is a good film considering what you guys are saying, but I'm going to say I absolutely love this film.
Oh, nice.
I was all over this when it came out in the theaters. I was a big Ira Levin fan going all the way back to A Kiss Before Dying in the 50s and that had a movie for it, and Rosemary's Baby and Stepford Wives. And then on top of that, we got Gregory Peck, who is just in The Omen just a couple years before, and Laurence Olivier, who was just in Marathon Man and played a Nazi doctor in that. And I'm like, I'm fired up. And I loved it. I loved the acting. I've seen some kind of questionable reviews about Gregory Peck, but I thought he was great. I thought Olivier was great. I think I know where you're coming from, because I tried to watch this maybe a couple months ago and was thinking, why did I like this so much? Because I was like, this is kind of boring. Just but this, I don't know. When I watched it a couple nights ago, it's totally different. So I don't know what the difference was, but I love the whole scheme with the it's the a bit of a science fiction one, and I'm trying to think of how many other movies. I don't know. There probably were a bunch of other ones, but cloning Hitler and then doing it this way, it was a grand scheme. I thought it was great, and I loved the ending on it too.
That ending. All right. So I'm going to confess that I saw it for the first time last night. I much like Chad, I kind of avoided this one. I remember it coming out, and I remember being fascinated by it because of the Omen was fascinated with that, and Gregory Peck was in it, and like Laurence Olivier was kind of a name that that's a big name. Jeff just ran off. He doesn't like this. So for some reason I just never went back to it, and I think it's very much kind of like what you were saying, Chad. Just kind of like, it feels more like a drama. Do I really want to do it? And I kind of lost any notion of what the genre part of it would be, right? Wasn't sure what that would be. So I ended up watching it the other night, and somehow I enjoyed this. It's weird. It's strange. I don't know if I like it. But I enjoyed it. But I didn't enjoy it because of the quality of the movie or the plot or anything. I enjoyed it because of all the great supporting actors. I mean, every scene has somebody in that going, "Oh, look at that! Oh, look at that!" And then when that's done, literally the last one that you get, like, "Oh, I remember him." Then it goes to the finale. Because that guy gets shot and dumped into the basement. And it goes into the finale, and it's like, what the hell is going on? Look at those old men fighting. Oh, that's the silliest damn thing I ever seen.
They were probably saying that to themselves, too. Hey, we're too old for this.
I know, but it was... and I will say that when we get into talking about the performances, there's a really good performance until that last scene. And that last scene, I don't know what the hell happened with this performance because, and Laurence Olivier just feels so tired. I know that he was ill during this shooting, and it feels it, but it fit the character for the most part, but it didn't make that last part really believable at all. Yeah. It's like he was like just fall in half. But so I'm kind of torn. I don't know what to think of this. For me, I will watch this again and again just to see all the people in it. Just to see all the people in it. I don't know if I care for the movie all that much. And that it started off and gave me Steven Guttenberg for the first 15 minutes was the most amazing thing ever. I didn't even know he was
I didn't either.
And I'm like, look at that guy staring at the crowd. Is that it? Is that all we're going to get? No. And then, of course, it's got John Rubinstein from The Car, so that's a big plus. Nobody knows what I'm talking about there. Anyway, I mean, the whole cast. You do. Yeah. So somehow I had fun with it, but man, this movie is it's zoinks.
It's an oddity.
It's an oddity.
It's an oddity.
And if you
like
read
me.
it. Yeah, like you. And if you
that was my next sentence.
if you read the reviews, like on the wikis, and we can always trust that, they're all over the place. Like, right? I think Siskel and Ebert gave it like 1.5 out of 5, right? And other ones, the Washington Post liked it, other people didn't. So it was all over the place, and it kind of made money, but it kind of was I don't think it lived up to their expectations of what this film would be. I mean, they spent a lot of money on it because where they shot and they burnt down a house for some reason. Like, why did you even do that? That didn't do anything for the plot. But anyway, how do we get into this? Because there's just so much. I mean,
what do you mean it didn't?
Well, I mean, they didn't have to burn it down.
Well, they were erasing all the evidence.
Well, true. Okay, I'll give you that. All right, so there's so much cast and there's so many pictures we can go through. I think we just want to do it, right? Just go through the cast. We got to start off with Gregory Peck. Gregory Peck's the lead, and he took over for George C. Scott, yeah, who had to leave before filming.
Who would have made an even less convincing Mengele?
Oh no, I think he's a perfect megalomaniac. No, I think Gregory Peck. I think he's a perfect megalomaniac in this.
Gregory Peck is, yeah.
Well, they make him so pale. It's so hilarious. Like, he's really pale in that bottom picture that you see there. But and he, they give him some eyeliner and it makes his eyes all squinty. It's kind of bizarre, but I like that.
Looks like Joe Bob Briggs' dad or something.
He does. I like that he gives everybody shit. He goes up when the one guy is at the party and he's not supposed to be, at least to
Oh yeah.
He busts some shit over his face. And
you're supposed to be killing somebody.
I know.
Yeah, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
And then insults the guy's wife right after that.
Oh my God! Yes.
Oh man, did he ever? What he said? You're an ugly. Oh yeah.
Shut up, you ugly bee.
Bitch.
Oh my God, really? I loved his performance up until the finale, and I thought the finale, the last 10 minutes of this is just like, you're either going to love that last 10 minutes or you're just going to go, what?
It's just, oh my God.
What?
It's great. How would you end it?
I don't know. I mean, it works, but it's so the way he's talking to that kid, and he's sitting there he's bleeding out on the chair, right? And he's like all excited because he's the little Hitler.
Yeah. I mean, he spent his life trying to recreate what he thinks is the greatest man in history. And now we're down to this one last guy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch of other ones out there, but
this one shows the best promise.
No, Jeff, I want you to change my mind, because the idea behind everything about this movie makes me want to like it. And I'll even give the last part with Gregory Peck. It's like, I do think it's like, okay, I believed him that he had this idea in his mind where he was creating this next Third Reich and that he believed in this, but
Fourth Reich.
Fourth Reich. You're right.
One of the Reichs.
One of them.
A Reich.
But
the premise is good. I mean, it's a cool sci-fi premise. Clone Hitler. What happens? What would happen if somebody cloned Hitler?
And they throw in some moral dilemma about, do you kill a child? And that's
that's
always what you say. Would you go back in time and
Yeah.
kill baby Hitler? Well,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which we find out at the end, but Laurence Olivier doesn't find out at the end. He should have killed the kid, but.
And that kid really creeped me out.
Man, that was the creepiest kid ever.
Well, the eye contacts didn't help. That's for sure.
No, they were weird. The blue eyes.
His whole demeanor and the way he acted and spoke just was like, yeah, I'd have told the guy, go kill them all. Just go kill them all. Even if they're not Hitler, go ahead and kill all these guys.
He definitely had
creepy.
that distant, like he was completely separate from humanity. Like he had no feeling, no empathy, nothing. And that was really creepy.
It was.
Yeah, I mean, Mengele's a mad scientist. So we get basically boils down to a mad scientist film, right? He's a mad scientist.
Yeah.
He's created 60 some or 90 some
94
monsters and gave them out to the world, and he has to do an act to kind of do that final
and tried to duplicate the environment.
Yeah,
in terms of parents and
Yep. Thanks to Bruno Gans, we know all about that and what's happening. So thanks, Bruno.
Who went on to later play Hitler himself.
yes.
Oh, he did.
In the movie Downfall,
There's a lot of that in this movie.
This cast. But okay, Laurence Olivier. We got to talk about Laurence Olivier. He, of course, is considered one of the greatest actors of all time. Later in his career, I don't know. Have you followed this up with Dracula? We've already covered that one.
I was reading about him, and they said there's some speculation that he was of ill health, so he was trying to make as much money as he could to provide money for his family, something along that lines. So there's 3 or 4 big, name movies at this time. Now, I thought in this movie, his general sort of weakness and his voice was kind of weak. I thought it played to the character pretty good. This guy was tired. He'd been chasing Nazis his whole life, and he had kind of burned all his bridges. Everybody else is done with it. We got Eichmann. Forget about it. And we got the what was the character played by Uta Hagen? Frieda Maloney. What a name, Frieda Maloney. Anyway, so yeah, I thought him and Peck were both. I don't think there was a weak acting in this film from anybody. I thought it was all good.
I think it all comes down to the dialogue during that finale.
Well, I mean, was it crazy that Peck was trying to thought this kid was just going to jump at being told he's Hitler? I liked how he was crazy. Yeah,
that was a good move.
I do think Laurence Olivier did a really good job playing this part. I did, like you said, felt the tired, but I also felt like the strength. Like he was definitely with it in the sense of like when he met Eugen Hagen's character in the prison, he was with it. He was pulling out all these questions. He was and so I totally bought that character. I thought he did really good.
Well,
I don't know about the end when he was like, well, let these kids have I mean, it's like maybe he would go that way as that character, but it just, I don't know. Up to that point, I totally thought he did great, but at the end, I wasn't so sure.
I agree. I agree.
I'm with
I
you,
felt
though.
like he wouldn't have just let the kids go scot-free. He would have. I don't know if he would have killed them,
Right?
But
Something.
he would have
Kept
done
track of
something
them or
different.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
found some way to keep track of them and continue that Nazi hunting thing he's been that's what he does. He hunts Nazis. He never killed any of them for sure, but it felt like the character would have kept tabs on him and found another way.
Yeah, he has enough experience to know that things are way more complicated than
Yeah.
Yep. All right, James.
Meanwhile,
Mason.
they're setting fires in hospitals and smoking cigarettes.
Yep,
exactly.
Yeah, isn't that great? That was like, all right, James Mason. I love James Mason.
Awesome.
I love trying to do his accent and can never do it, but that's a different thing. Of course, Salem's Lot, perfect. But before that, what's the is it North by Northwest that he's in?
He's
Or do I have the wrong one?
yes, I believe so. But he's also in Frankenstein: The True Story.
Yes.
And 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
And dozens of other films as well, right? Oh my gosh, you gotta love James Mason. He's truly a supporting character here. He serves as a representation of everything outside of Mengele's character that opposes what he's up to. Even though it's spent how many years doing this, right, and money and all that stuff. So
he only opposes it because it might bring them down. I don't, he's the bureaucracy.
In terms of this insane project, he's like the voice of reason.
I know.
There 10 people,
Oh man.
But they had a bunch of these guys were in Hitchcock movies. Olivier was in Rebecca, and Peck was in Paradigm Case and Spellbound, and one of my favorite ones of his was the original Cape Fear with Robert Mitchum as the bad guy. Anyway.
All right. Here's the biggest surprise for me. I did not know Steve Guttenberg was in this. And when I saw, you see the picture at the top when he's in the crowd, I literally thought, oh, wow, he's an extra. This is great. I know he darts across the street and flies over a table and gets in a van, and he's in the movie for 15 minutes.
I was looking straight at him the whole movie, and I was going, that can't be Steve Guttenberg. That can't be Steve Guttenberg.
It's like his fourth film, I think, or fourth.
What? Yeah.
It's good that he probably
leveraged
his role in this movie to get the police academy.
Yeah. Fortunate.
Or that, or Lava Lantula.
Come on! I was in Boys from Brazil. Of course, I can be in that.
What else? You know what else he was in, Doc? He was in that Into the Dark movie about the dogs. The Good Boy or Good Boy.
Was he?
Yeah.
Was he?
When he was like one of the bosses. The boss, I think. Anyway, an older Steve.
Yeah, he's still out there doing it. But this is the police academy version of him, but playing serious and doing a good job of it.
He did.
All right, Jeremy Black. There's the kid. Okay, so apparently,
and there's the mirror shot.
Oh yeah! Oh wow! There is the mirror shot. Look at that.
What's with the Superman spit curl there?
Good point. I didn't notice that.
I don't know.
That's one bad wig, Harry.
Yeah, that's one bad wig. Yeah, he didn't do much film work, but he apparently was strong on the theater scene. So
yeah,
he had a big career. But he certainly fit. Okay, there's a lot of Omen kind of comparisons to go in here because of Dobermans, which we'll get to here in a second, and this and the evil kid
and the evil kid,
the evilest of evil kids, right? 94 of them, 94 twins running around.
I mean, regular twins are bad enough, but when they're Hitler,
send all comments to Chad.
Oh, twins when there's 94 of them.
What do you call 94 Hitlers? They're not twins anymore.
No, they're not. They're not. They're 94
hexatuplets.
I don't even know. Too damn many. Dobermans.
Megatuplets.
What did we think of the Dobermans at the end? And all the fake painted red blood.
I love Dobermans.
Yeah.
We used to raise Dobermans as a kid, and around this time, the late 70s, if you remember all the Doberman movies that were out.
Oh, there were,
and the Doberman Gang and those kind of movies.
Yeah, wasn't Dracula's dog a Doberman?
I don't remember, but I wouldn't doubt it at the time. But I thought they were cool. I love Dobermans. That's all. So I love that part.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
They were definitely frightening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely frightening. So
and you caught the
eep or
easy for you to say, Jeff. Easy for you to say. You're going in and out. If you can hear us,
it could have at least frozen on a better face.
Oh wow! Look at that. That's kind of scary. All right,
what's going on here?
Let's adjust. Frozen on a better face. I don't know.
Just like.
All right, I'll get back with you, Chad. I promise.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Denham Elliott and John Denner. Of course, two character actors that we would recognize. Denham Elliott. I always think of him. Isn't it Raiders Lost Ark? Right?
Yes.
Okay. There's a couple.
Brody, Marcus Brody.
Mm-hmm.
And he was also who was the other guy?
Wolf.
The German Wolfgang Price, I think.
Wolf Kohler, right? He's the guy that melted. One of the guys that melted.
All
right, you're doing it to us. Go ahead.
Well, I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
I thought it was Wolfgang Price, but
no, it's Wolf. Wrong Wolf. But so they're both in this. Anybody want to take the floor for these two actors real quick?
John Denner was an animator, I found out.
Was he?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know what he worked on, but just reading up about him, I found out he was an animator as well as an actor. We all know if you're a 70s aficionado, he was in every stinking TV show back then. But,
most character actors were, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I love the character. I thought he did a great job in this character, this kind of 70s dad.
But very racist and kind of a parallel, maybe worse.
Yeah. But also kind of willing to show up with this guy. It was just like
So he did lots of Westerns. The one that I can remember the best is he played Pat Garrett in The Left-Handed Gun with Paul Newman as Billy the Kid from the 50s.
How do I not know about that?
But I was looking, he did some other, I think he's the one that, Yeah, he did hundreds of old-time radio shows in the 40s and the 50s, including over 100 episodes of Paladin.
Oh,
Have
wow.
Gun Will Travel. Yeah.
Oh, man. My dad talked about that all the time.
On the radio, so. This guy did all kinds of stuff, and he just found ways to make money, and he seemed to be good at all of it.
He was a jack of all trades, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He did some of the animation work on Fantasia and Bambi. Those are the
really?
Oh,
wow.
There you go.
Cool.
Nice. Bruno Ganz, of course, we talked about him. He gives us all the stink for and John Rubinstein. Yeah. Fart and music for a year is my favorite line from him, and it's from the car. I will always remember who he is.
Well, wasn't Gans was in the Nosferatu with
Was he?
I can't think of the guy's name now.
Unakir?
No,
No, yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm totally.
You know who I mean? The guy everybody hates.
Now that you said, I just had his name in my head, and then it just flew out.
Oh, yeah, the guy who everybody hates. I don't.
Yeah.
The listeners at home are going,
Oh,
idiots!
Yeah, they're screaming his name out.
Klaus Kinski, guys. Klaus
Klaus
Kinski,
Kinski.
yeah.
And Werner Herzog was his
Yeah.
evil muse, apparently.
Yeah.
So he played Harker. He played Harker in that. All right.
Yeah.
Some of the Rosemary Harris and Anna Mira. Rosemary Harris
gosh.
played Aunt May. Is that what you said,
Yeah,
Ted?
and May in the Raimi Spider-Man
The
film.
Sam Raimi movies.
Wow.
And she won, she had 9 Tony nominations and 1 win. Also had a Primetime Emmy, an Oscar nomination, Golden Globe wins, and you know where she lives now, according to IMDb?
1313
Salem.
Mockingbird Lane.
Oh,
Oh, she
Winston
lives here in
Salem?
town? I live in
Winston-Salem.
Winston-Salem. I live in Winston-Salem.
wow.
I
Wow.
loved
Look
her
her up.
character.
Who knows how old that entry was in the trivia, but
Wow.
I
Of
loved
course-
her character, the way she kept pulling her skirt up and everything,
Yes,
and,
yes.
and the reaction that she was getting. And
I'm so glad I got rid of that guy. I wish he'd got hit by a truck a long time ago.
Yeah.
Hit some leg.
She didn't care. She didn't care.
Oh,
No,
she
but
had
like,
she had a rough life, and there you go.
Mhm.
And I really liked her, and I liked how her interaction with the son. I
Yeah.
thought was really
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, so short.
I tried like heck to get a face on picture of Ann Mira, but I could not find one.
Really?
Yeah.
Within the movie.
Within the movie.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben Stiller's mom.
Yes.
Mhm.
Jerry Stiller's wife. And
Yeah.
playing a very serious role here and
Mhm.
doing a damn good job of it.
Yes.
Yeah, she did great. She did a great.
Gosh, she was good. Yeah. I totally believed everything about her. Like when she came and found him, I believe that she was like, "Oh, should I find him? No, I don't want to have anything to do with him." I
Yeah.
loved it. And she
Yeah.
was like 5 minutes?
Yeah,
It's all
yeah,
these
yeah.
supporting characters were really
memorable.
amazing. Yeah.
I mean, there's
Well,
there's
yeah.
too many to actually go through.
I know.
You're going to say, Jeff?
Well, did you go by, you went by John Rubinstein already, right?
Yeah, we did. Yep.
I got to mention a quick thing.
Sure.
Did you know that he was a composer for movies too? He's got like
Yeah,
30
yeah.
composing credits, and one of which
Wow.
Jeremiah Johnson,
Oh, wow.
Robert
and a
Redford.
bunch of other movies in the 70s. So that just kind of blew me away.
So he farted music in the movies too. Cool.
Yeah. Well,
Awesome.
he was in that weird little Spielberg TV movie too, Something Evil. In 71, 70,
Oh,
72, something.
Oh, we have to catch that
With
one now.
what's the woman in Carrie Snodgrass? I think
Wow.
that's an actress, right?
I can't get that name. I couldn't have pulled that name out of anything. That's a good one. All right.
I'm
Uda
not convinced
Hagen
I did yet.
and Lilli Palmer.
Mhm.
2 more roles. These actresses I'm not as familiar with. So
Ooh.
Jeff, I'm going to have to rely on you and the rest of the crew to fill in the gaps.
Well, Lilli Palmer was in AIP's Murders at the Rue Morgue in 71.
Okay.
And she was in a kind of a weird horror movie called The House That Screamed from 69.
Okay. All right.
But I don't know why I know about her, but I just know about her. She was a big stage actress too. I don't know. She's somebody that I always recognize. And Uta Hagen was she was in The Other in 1972.
Yeah.
You know, the one based on the Tom Tryon book. But she was really a well-known stage actor and was an acting teacher.
Mhm.
And 2 of her students were De Niro and Pacino.
Wow.
Yeah, she has a ton of famous students.
Yeah.
Mm.
I should
And
have
she
let you
was
say that.
blacklisted.
Yeah.
I don't really know a whole ton about her, but she had a ton of famous students, and she was blacklisted.
Oh, in the 50s?
Yeah.
Mm.
Bastard.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, the other a film we'll probably get to at some point had John Ritter in it in one of hers other films, so that's kind of fun. I don't know why I remember that, but that's what I got to go for.
That had what? John
Ritter. John Ritter.
Three's Company, John Ritter.
Yes.
Okay.
Na.
But what film was that?
The other. The other.
Okay. Now, gotcha.
A couple posters. Let's talk about the director. Come on, we got to talk about the director, right?
Yeah, sure.
Planet of the Apes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I'll just stop there. You guys fill in the gaps.
There's no other.
Patton.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going.
Patton.
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 Papillon.
Papillon.
Yeah.
Yes, but I just Planet of the Apes alone is just enough.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, just the fact that he did Planet of the Apes is
which is one of my all-time favorite films.
Mhm.
And you could see a lot. And once I knew it was him, and I was watching this, and you could see the techniques that he likes to use, like the push-in close-ups because of Charlton Heston. Get away from me, you damn idiot! Right. So they get those kind of close-ups as some of the characters deliver the dumb lines, right? So, and Patton, of course. That's that's probably why George C. Scott was associated with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
First.
Well, it's interesting because when you look through his credits prior to Planet of the Apes, there's nothing there that I recognize except he did a ton of those like studio TV shows that were like 1 hour plays, different cast every week. DuPont Show of the Week. I'm looking down the Playhouse 90.
Mm-hmm.
The Kaiser Aluminum Hour. All those had like short plays that were run. They didn't have recurring actors or characters or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's by far the most of what he did. It looks like to me.
The Defenders, I remember.
Yeah, I do remember that. Didn't that have E.G. Marshall, maybe? Yeah, E.G. Marshall, Robert Reed.
I'm sorry, Daphne, I talked over you.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
I was just thinking, I saw something for him for 12 Angry Men on TV. Was that a TV show, or did you guys know anything about that? I saw him as directing that, and that maybe he won an Emmy too or something. And I only know the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if there was a TV version. I mean, it's not horror, but I was just like, that's interesting.
Well, it's interesting. It is interesting because he got in some of these series. He got nominated for Emmys for the Kane Mutiny court martial on the Ford Star Jubilee. So some of these they did like television versions of movies or books and stuff too.
That's what it sounded like.
12
with
Angry
12 Angry Men. Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
Yeah, for Studio One. Yep, absolutely. Wow, 1948 TV.
110 episodes.
He was in on it.
Wow.
So anyway,
I thought he did a great job. I thought the direction was really good in this. But of course, I was looking for similarities between, what I would expect out of the Apes, and they were there. Yeah. Until you get to the end. The end doesn't feel like it belongs in the movie.
Mm-hmm. No.
Well, it's a complicated plot, right? And at no time did I ever feel like I was lost. But on the other hand, when you're running around the world killing these 94 guys, all you got to do is show a shot of the kid and you know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
He's killing one of them guys. That's one of the dads.
Yeah. That's a very good point.
It may be, time has taken that away from it. I don't know. It was quite as obvious back in 78, but certainly now, because how many plots similar to this have we had?
Well, this movie did have one of the best dudes falling off the side of a dam.
Yes, that was awesome.
That did not look like a dummy somebody threw down. That thing looked real. It looked real. There were
so awesome.
There were pieces flying off of him, and when he hit the side, it was great. That was great.
Well, not only that,
I perked up at
mentioned
that.
that. It was
The
awesome.
he
dialogue.
talks him into killing him, right?
Yeah. Well,
He talks his assassin into killing him.
well, sort of. I think he was catfishing him all along. But that dialogue was perfect there. I was really into that scene because he was like, just had him going, no, I'm not really after that guy. I'm after you.
Yeah. And then he's like looking over the side going, it didn't have to be on Saturday. Like the guy can still hear it.
That's right.
Oh, man. I love one of my favorite scenes is when we first get introduced to all the main characters in the first 15 minutes, right? Or all the little Nazis, right? And he's going from one to one. Gregory Peck's going from one character to one character to one character, and introducing them. And I'm like, yes. So they're all different reactions, right? Some of them are, very, very official, and other ones are, kind of not. And it's really interesting. And plus, you're going, oh, I know that guy. I know that guy.
Yes.
I know that guy. I know that guy. Look at that guy. That guy is in.
Mhm.
Yeah, that guy just chased Willy Wonka all around. It's all this people. I really love that scene. And of course, you got Steve Guttenberg out in the bushes.
Yeah.
listen to this contraption he made out of a radio cassette recorder that he
Sardine can with some wires sticking out.
Isn't that great? He goes,
It's awesome, yeah.
Well, and but here's another kind of a tribute to 70s, the little kid who plants the device, the microphone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then Mengele gets him and looks at him and smiles, and I can't remember if he pats him on the head or not, and turns around to his buddy and goes, kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And later you see he has him or another one, and he's dyed the eyes blue. So
Yeah.
The blue eyes.
which
yeah.
is something that he was reported to actually have done.
Yeah, Mengele actually did.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did you see the parallels to the real guy?
Yeah, what's interesting is that they kind of foretold his death, didn't they? Because he drowned.
Yeah, he drowned, yeah.
Yeah. Or
And he was actually alive when this was going on, and he died like
A year later, I think it was like year.
well, it was like a month after that was released, but a month after the period that the story is supposed to cover.
Right,
And they're
right.
in the same month.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
The story is supposed to cover like through February 79, and Mengele died in February 79, I think.
Yep.
I think there were always rumors.
Nobody
that
proved
he
it
did
for
not
like
die.
another.
Right.
bunch of
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, it was in the
But,
80s.
So, and this
Yeah.
is one of those things that I think it might. I think I'm sucked into the.
It's sucked into the shit.
Sucked into the shit.
Oh, no.
Jeff got sucked into the shit.
Oh no, Jeff. All right, well let's
Oh, Jeff.
so then here he comes back. You're totally throwing us all for a loop. All right, Jeff, pick up where you left off there. So
Well, you guys are all.
I gotta
gone,
say that's the best exit ever.
I know. Oh shit!
Oh no!
Getting sucked into the
I
shit.
can't believe you guys. Nobody else is there. I can't see anybody, but yep, it records. Okay. I think I'm somebody my age or my generation is like sort of primed to get sucked into the spider web of stories like this because of I grew up when I was a kid on Sunday morning, and I can't think of the name of the show now, but there was a show every Sunday morning about the history of World War II. Every Sunday morning. It's the big something or another. I'll have to look that up, but and it
Wouldn't
opened
be
up
cool
with
if
a
that was the
submarine.
real name of the show.
The big something or another. A submarine would come out, and all the water would drain off the nose, and it would crash down, and then they would tell a story about it. But so that was, the whole Nazi thing was fascinating, and combat was on live TV. I was watching that when they came out. So I don't know why that there was for me anyway, and having German heritage, that was fascinating to me. So going into this, just the whole thing sucked me in. I get sucked in on weird Nazi time travel horror science fiction movies. So
its own
that
genre
might be part of
for
it
sure.
too. Yeah, you add in Ira Levin and this cast, and I
Yes.
just go, I'm going to love it. I don't care what you say.
Well, you've got this movie's a little over 2 hours, and you've got this long, drawn out part, and you've got this build up of him trying to figure out this sort of mystery of what's going on that Barry Kohler introduced him to at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got this big, long, drawn out thing. So you're expecting. And Mengele is so over the top. I mean, Gregory Peck plays him so over the top. It's just crazy. So you're expecting this big confrontation at the end, and it just ends with 3 guys and a couple of dogs and them wrestling on the floor for, and the dog biting them in the crotch a couple of times. It just feels like somebody said, let's take this movie and take this part of the movie and put it into this movie. It seemed like just 2 different.
Yeah. Well, I see what you're saying, but I didn't get that at all.
No. I guess I expected some kind of big sci-fi blowout, like you would get something more on a global scale with 94. There's 94 Hitlers still out there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's sort of focused on the one at the end being evil.
Rubenstein wanted to do, right? His character wanted to send out Mossad to kill off all the.
Yeah, stick them one by one.
Yeah.
I
had kind of a similar feeling. I think what you're talking about, Jeff, was I feel like when I was watching it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember the cloning. I remember people talking about cloning, and they started cloning sheep. And everybody started freaking out about and imagining what would happen with cloning. So I could see that really being kind of, something that would suck people in. And then, the scientist explaining the cloning, and I guess it actually was somewhat accurate as far as the science at the time. But I was watching that and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I remember how freaked out we all were about cloning and what that might mean. And I just thought that was really cool too.
Well, I like what Doc said. It combines that idea of would you go back and kill Hitler when he was a baby?
Yeah.
Yes.
We got 94 Hitlers running around that we don't know.
Exactly.
Who've been raised exactly in the that nature versus nurture kind of thing, right? So
we have a pretty good idea because all these little Hitlers were jerks.
They were asses. I wanted to punch each of them in the face. I feel like I've said that in every episode. God, I want to punch him in the face.
I'm with you on that.
These little kids, I just wanted to knock them out.
Well, you guys talked about that fight scene at the end, and they did say it was very difficult to film because of Olivier's health. Not to mention that Peck was, and I read something where they said Peck and Olivier, there was a couple times where they were lying on the floor just laughing their ass off. Here we are doing a fight scene together at this age.
He was 70 years old doing that.
Well, then the other thing was you guys probably read this too, but the dogs attacking Peck, that the dogs were trained to pull on the knot on his tie.
Oh, I didn't read that.
I'm like,
cool.
I don't know if I'd buy.
Yeah, because that looks
when
like
I lay there, my Dobermans attacked me, thinking they're not going to go past the tie.
It's like, just the knot, just the knot.
I mean, that fight gets brutal. They bite each other's hands and ears, and they shoot each other a couple times.
It was weird to me. I was expecting a more grandiose, more grandiose, ending than that.
That's a classic Jeff there.
And he's frozen.
There he is. Oh man! But anyway,
I like him better that way. Anyway,
do you like him that way, nice and frozen?
Let's wake him up 30 years from now, still telling the boys from Brazil.
My God.
Fuck.
Am I still frozen?
No, you're not frozen anymore. Jerry Goldsmith's music. I should mention that because I recognized the music as soon as it played. And I was like, Jerry Goldsmith did the music. This film didn't do anything with like awards or anything, did it?
Yeah. Oh, it was nominated for 3 Oscars.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking for that. Do you know what they are by any chance?
Yeah. Best actor for Olivier.
Good.
And best film editing for a guy named Robert Swink, and best music original score, Jerry Goldsmith.
Yeah. Okay. The last one I give, and I give all 3 of them. I think Olivier did a really good job, but I think, because I actually really believed him all the way through it. Really.
Yeah, he did a great job. Yeah.
And so along those lines, you've got 2 Oscar winners in Peck and Olivier, and 3 nominees with James Mason, Denham Elliott, and Rosemary Harris.
James Mason.
Thank you.
Going to set your house on fire.
James Mason.
There's not a German accent anywhere to be found in the way I talk.
Oh my God, I love it when he's in films. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, he's cool.
He's awesome.
I liked his character though too. His character was like, "Nah, I'm going to burn your house."
I ain't taking shit from you. I don't care what you.
This is my project. You can't take my project. And he just looks at him. And,
kill all these people over here. Set these on fire.
I know, in that scene where he's just kind of supervising the killing
whole
of all the people.
Stepping
you over there.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I don't know if it's just because I really like costumes and stuff, but I was just noticing that there's 2 guys, these 2 old men in this colonial area wearing these white suits tucked into these weird boots. I don't know. It's like, I want to look that up. Like, do people actually wear that? That just seems kind of impractical. I don't know. I was just like, really like, I need to look into that.
I took that as being like a holdover from the German, the Aryan aristocracy kind of thing.
Yeah.
The generals' uniforms, you tucked your boots in.
Did you? You tucked your boots in? Okay, I didn't know that. So that's good.
The Jodhpur uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
They had tucked their boots in.
Yes. Right. Oh, so even later, even years later, they would still tuck their pants into their boots. That's interesting. That's cool.
I don't know. I'm sure it wasn't a fashion, but what they were wearing was like. It seemed like an air of arrogance to them.
Right. It also seemed very practical. Like, I don't want my fancy linen suit to get soiled, so I'm going to tuck it into these boots, Yeah. I don't know. It's those silly things that I'm kind of like I imagine people doing that. Yes.
I love the Mengele's, that one suit combination he had where he had the white shirt with the big wide collar on the outside of the white jacket. It was like Leisure Suit Larry or something. And it was perfect, right? Mm-hmm. It was absolutely perfect.
Very German, very exact.
Very tailored. Very tailored. Right. So I wish Bill was here because the commands for the Dobermans were all, film
with
terms.
Photography.
Right? So cut was stop, and action was attack, and print was kill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I thought that was so cool because he had such an antagonistic relationship with his father. Yet here the kid was a photographer and his father used these words as command. I was like, wow, what's going on there? I don't know if I don't know what, I genuinely was wondering why did they choose that? Because it was very clearly movie words or photography and the father had just talked about how artsy fartsy his son was. Right. But yet he loved these dogs. So why would he use these, words, or did the son train these? That really caught my attention. And I thought that was really interesting.
Well, the son certainly knew how to command them. So
yes, he did.
He did, so.
And that makes you wonder about him.
And then he was really creepy going in there, going in for the close-up, tink, as the guys were lying, dying on the floor.
Exactly. You walk into your home, and there's these two guys you don't know, and they're bloody, and you pull the camera out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not a photographer. Maybe you do that. I don't know. It just seems weird. He was creepy.
I think it was just to show his evilness coming out, and his fascination with death and his
separateness from any sort of humanity. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he did freak out about his dad.
That's true. He did run around looking for his dad. That is,
and who knows? That may be what triggered his, his evilness to come out. I don't know.
Is there a sequel? Is there a sequel?
Well, didn't someone get the rights to remake it or something?
Yeah, it's been on the remake thing for like 10, 20 years. But what would the sequel be? My Three Hitlers? I don't know.
My 94 or my 92 Hitlers at this point.
All 94 of my
Well, if Guttenberg did it would be like, what is that? Two babies and
three men and a baby.
Three Hitlers. Three men and Hitler. Oh man, that's oh my gosh. What
maybe I think maybe the four of us, or maybe one of the four of the 94. I don't know.
Sometimes I wonder.
Well, I mean, when it was over, I was like, "Well, what's going to happen? They're adults now. Where are they? What are they doing? Is one of them, got a comb over it really bad? What's going on? What's happening? I don't know."
Do they all spontaneously grow little mustaches? Right?
Like, oh my God, wouldn't that be awesome? Like, but if they had like peach fuzz and it was just right there at their age.
Oh my God.
That's genetic.
Oh no.
I think this is a sign that we ought to wrap this up.
It's a crazy movie.
All right, so let's give our recommendation, and if you want to pick out a favorite scene, let's go ahead and do that. Daphne, you're up first.
Oh, I'm up first. Gosh. Oh, hey, Doc. I don't know if I'd recommend it. That's really a good question. Initially, I was watching it going, no, but like kind of struggling with there's all these awesome actors, and it's kind of a cool story. I guess I'm leaning more on the no. Gosh, favorite scene. Oh, geez. That's a good one. I guess the interrogation with Uta Hagen's character, I thought that was really good. Mm-hmm. Between those two characters, I thought that was really good.
Yeah, the dialogue was really strong there as well. Yeah. There were times when the dialogue was quite brilliant. Then other times when it was like, what is happening?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Chad, sir, what about you? Your recommendation, favorite scene?
I can recommend it, but not as a horror movie. In any way, shape, or form. It's and having never seen it before, I thought maybe there would be a more horror element in it. But this was strictly a sci-fi theme going on here, and but yeah, great acting, and Sir Laurence Olivier is awesome in this, and so is Gregory Peck and everyone else involved. But if you just want a good sci-fi thriller movie, it's good with a great premise to it. But I can't recommend it as a horror movie.
Okay, no, that's fair. That's fair. Mm-hmm. Do you have a scene you want to spotlight?
Of course, it's the scene where they're wrestling on the floor and biting each other. That was the most awesomest thing I've ever seen.
70-year-old man biting their neck,
and the cries of pain.
Oh my! He screamed like a girl when the dog got him. Oh my God, it was great. Yeah. Jeff, you had your final recommendation and favorite scene. Oh my God!
Well, I'm the guy that has man, am I red?
I would be too if I liked this movie.
No, I love this movie. And I'm also very liberal about what I call horror. And seems to me like cloning 94 Hitler's trying to recreate the Fourth Reich is pretty horrifying to me. But you're right. It is strictly, science fiction thriller or mystery kind of thing. So, if you like Ira Levin, I think go for it. Although apparently it didn't work for Daphne. I favorite scene. You know what? I'm going to take the dam kill.
Oh yeah, good
Just
choice.
the whole dialogue going up to it. Old friends meeting.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a good scene.
That was awesome.
Again, that goes to my point where the dialogue's really good at times, and then other times it's like, what the hell? All right, for me, if you love these actors and you recognize all these character actors, and you gotta watch this, you just gotta watch it. Is it a horror film? Very fringe. I mean, if there wasn't, it was probably more sci-fi in the 70s, because cloning was, in many eyes, probably was, straight up sci-fi. Now we know, except for people, I'm not sure we really know that, but except for people, it's a thing. We know it's a thing. So it's less sci-fi and more, exaggerated science. So it's interesting in that respect. It's more of the plot, the concept of what they're trying to achieve by it, and the lengths they went to do this, and then of course all the actors. And I love the director, and I thought he did a great job here as well. I didn't realize how much I liked this. I'm going to have to go back, and I haven't watched Patton in decades, so I'm going to have to go back and watch that again. Whenever I think of Patton, of course, I think of that one scene, right? The speech, the speech and the flag. It's hard to remember anything else. I mean, it's not, but that's, you go there, and what else do you need, right? That's Pat. But I got to watch it to see the rest of the film, and some of the other ones that he's done. So, my favorite scene is, I mentioned it earlier. When Mengele goes in and introduces himself to all the other Nazis in there, and it's just the different reactions, and then to the young ones, right, and how all the admiration they have, and while the one guy's a little skeptical, and the other guy's like, I'm an old friend, of course you recognize me, right? And I went after Willy Wonka, leave me alone. Yeah, you're my buddy. So gosh, this film, I wish Bill was here, because I have a feeling Bill has an entirely different perspective on everything we've said. We'll have to get some feedback from him next week, next episode. But so there you go. That's our review of The Boys from Brazil, a film we probably thought we'd never cover. But I believe, sir, we have feedback. And before we get to our feedback,
bye, Jeff.
Let's take a look. If you're still listening and watching, we want to thank you for hanging out for our reviews, and we hope that you enjoy not only this review but others that we're doing on the podcast as well. And if you would like to support us, it's really easy to do. You hit the subscribe button or share with a friend, and it does wonders. All right, Jeff is back, so let's get into some feedback, sir. Do you have that ready?
I do.
Let us have it.
So our buddy Bill Gabriel from New York had a comment on episode 139, Demon Witch Child.
That's a good one.
He says, I've seen this movie a half a dozen times, and to quote Beetlejuice, it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it.
Oh my God. I love it.
True, Bill. True.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
Except I'm not going to watch it 6 more times.
Yeah, no.
It was funny enough the first time.
And then we have a comment. Thanks, Bill.
I just love that Jeff could do the line so perfectly. That was great.
Yes.
For episode 140, The Haunting of Julia, Jerry Chandler says, I love the ambiguity of this film. I love how you can absolutely see it as a ghost film or absolutely see it as the story of someone having a psychotic breakdown.
Yeah. First of all, Jerry doesn't know what ambiguity means.
Oh, my.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
Chad,
probably the word history, etymology, and origins, too.
Oh, my God. You're going to meet him in I'm
Oh,
sure.
I've met Jerry in person.
No, I know that, but you're going to see him this weekend, aren't you? When you go down to
If I'm able to go down, yeah, I'll see him and slap him around a little bit.
Yeah, he might slap back.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
Yep, it'll be a slap fight. That's going to be.
It'll be a slap and run on my.
You scream like Mengele.
We'll be rolling around on the floor like Carolina, biting each other in the wrist. And, yeah.
Oh,
you spit in my ear.
Get your tongue out of my ear.
Hi, Jerry.
Oh, any more feedback?
And all I can say about the next episode is, "Oh no, you didn't, Chad."
Oh.
Do you remember what you picked?
He doesn't.
No.
Look at that face. Look at that face. Look at that face.
I'm gonna be honest.
Blood-sucking freaks.
Oh, right.
You bum.
Daphne knows. Daphne knows.
Blood-sucking freaks. Oh my!
It's gonna be awesome.
He's like, how can I do to 70s what I did to the 80s? 1 second for
That's going to be interesting.
The show's only going to be like 15 minutes long, but we'll try our best.
Oh wow!
I've actually seen it. Joe Bob did a thing with I think Chris Jericho was his guest because that's like his favorite movie.
Oh, Chris Jericho.
I like.
Sorry, that's cool.
Yeah, it is. It is cool.
All right. Well, on that note, should we go ahead and get out of here while the getting's good?
Thanks, Daphne, for such short notice.
Yeah,
I love
Daphne,
talking to you guys. Thanks so much.
Watch a 2-hour movie tonight. You have nothing else to do, right?
Yeah,
Sure, yeah, I'll do it.
Yes, we're going to have you back.
Especially one you don't like.
Yeah, we're going to have her back
like
on more.
Ambivalent.
Okay.
Well, the new trend on this show is if you pick a movie, you don't have to be here to review it. So, so maybe I won't be here next week, and you can come on there.
No, it's awesome talking to you guys. Thanks.
I didn't pick the last one.
Love it.
Bill, I'm talking about Bill.
Bill, okay. We might just have to make this a fivesome.
I'm very tired. I can't do it fivesome.
No, silly.
Oh, sorry.
Now who's red? All right. Well,
Daphne. Oh boy. I told you guys not to keep me up past my bedtime.
Why did you do? All right, Chad, I think I'm glad you're here. Jeff, I'm glad you joined us. Daphne, of course, I'm very pleased to finally do a podcast with you. This was fun, and I do hope you can come back. Yeah, we got to do this again. All right, thank you all. Let's say goodnight, please.
Good night, please.
Good night, everybody.
I knew she was going to say that.
I did too.
I got
Gruesome Magazine.